This episode contains adult language, mature situations, intense workout routines, dramatic boxing matches, life lessons learned through fighting, the passionate fighting spirit of Ippo Makinochi, and crazy gym senpais. Listener discretion is advised. Episode 298, The Dempsey Roll! Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, some podcasts and vague reviews about connected enhanced narratives. This is your host, Zan. Say konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Yes, we're back for another fun-filled episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, and more importantly than that, we are in episode 298. We are 2 episodes away from 300 and a week away from our 10-year anniversary. I am so excited. It's been a long ride, and like someone who's just finishing their workout, I gotta keep working to get as far as I can, I did my work. Now it's almost time to play and get that match started, shall we? So, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Spiraken is a podcast that provides informative reviews about connected enhanced narratives. Every episode, I'll talk about 1 or 2 manga titles and tell you the pros and cons about it, how the art style is, the characters are, the plot, and if it's worth investing your time in or not. You don't have to agree with anything that I say, but I try to be informative, educational, entertaining, and mostly impartial. You can check out any of our earlier episodes if you don't believe me, if you want to see some of the stuff we've talked about, at www.spiraken.com, spiraken.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify, Player.fm, Stitcher, YouTube, and several other social media sites. Just type in the search bar Spiraken, and I guarantee you'll find us one way or the other. Also, if you want to leave me a comment, or if you have a suggestion for a list for the Wheel of Manga, you can email me personally at zan@spiraken.com, tweet me at Spiraken, or direct message me at Spiraken on Instagram or Twitter. So, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the review at hand, shall we? Because in the last episode, I spun that not only the Wheel of Manga, and I dictated there reviewing a very pretty awesome manga. One which has been kind of pivotal for me because a long time ago I put it on the Wheel of Manga, and it has never spun until now. But years ago when I found it, I started reading it, and I became intrigued by this manga because it was something a little different, a little weird. And it was something I thought I'd never like. But as I read it, I became addicted to it. And I ended up falling in love with it. It's actually one of the series I enjoy reading. When the video game came out for the Wii, it's a terrible video game. But I bought it because it was connected to this. I ended up finding the Geneon release of this series, the dub. And I ended up hunting down like half the series to purchase because I became such a fanboy with the series. This is one of the series that I have fallen in love with because of its unique nature. And the series I'm talking about was written by George Morikawa for Kodansha back in 1989, and it's still coming out to this day. So that's over 30 years. It has 120 volumes, and this is a shonen sports drama series focusing on the wonderful sport of pugilism or boxing. And the manga that I'm talking about today is Hajime no Ippo, also known as Fighting Spirit. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a huge fan of sports manga. The reason why is that sports mangas, unlike real sports, are engaging and intriguing. Because, yeah, people love real sports. Most manga fans, us included, we find it scary and terrible because we're geeks. We're maybe not as athletic as most people, so we don't find sports interesting. We'll sit there and watch it and we'll be perplexed by it. And that's why I like sports mangas. It gets into the head of the people involved so you can sympathize with them, understand them. Also, it shows the rules of the sport, and it gives you honest players and people who you can read about and research and learn more about. This manga is the one that actually made me into sports mangas because, like I said, it put on the Wheel of Manga because I heard about it. I didn't think about it. After not getting it 3 times, I said, you know what? I'm going to read this just on my own time to see how it is, and I became addicted to it. And this is the story of Ippo Makinochi, a young man who is the son of a fisherwoman. Pretty much, his mom's job is every morning she gets up, she takes out their boat, she gets a bunch of people who hire her, and she takes them out fishing. And every morning, Ippo gets up to help her out, lifting heavy boxes to put on the boat. Fishing tackle, bait, all of that. So he's got pretty muscular arms, but he's a little bit of a geek, and he's bullied constantly. People will hit him, treat him like garbage. And they bully him, these 3 bullies specifically. It's funny what happens to them later on. But they bully him mercilessly until one day this guy shows up. and he defends Ippo. He saves him, but then he says, "You're weak. You can't do anything." So Ippo says, "Oh, you're right. I'm weak. Help me. Help me do something." Well, fine. Meet me at this place. Gives him an address. The address he takes him to is the Kamogawa gym, a gym for boxers. And at first he sees this kid, he's like, you know what? I'll help you out. And the guy reveals himself. His name is Mamoru Takamura, the world heavyweight champion. This guy is starting to be the best boxer. And he's a heavyweight, and he has a punch like a rocket. He's also a big pervert and a prick. He does horrible pranks with people, really messed up pranks. Like, you see the girl that you like, you're talking to her, he's going to pull your pants down so your dick shows. And it's really funny, especially when at one point he thinks, oh, you got a little dick. No one can look at you. Then, giant Gamera-sized monster in the pants. But he's a prick, but he ends up teaching Ippo a basic jab. He says, you know what? Punch. I want you to, here's a picture of the bully. Punch. Show me what you got. Twist the arm, punch. And he sees that Ippo has a huge, strong punch that pushes back the punching bag. And he's like, wait a minute. Listen, I can't help you out, kid. He's like, Ippo's like, please, help me out. Teach me. All right, fine. If you can grab 10 leaves with one punch, you win. I will give you the time of day and I will train you. If you can, within 10 seconds, grab 10 leaves. And Ippo tries. He can't do it. He keeps trying. He's trying to figure it out. It's too slow. Eventually, it connects in his head how to do it. And when Mamoru is doing his road work, that's his running, he sees Ippo. Ippo says, look at this. Punches the tree and punches and grabs all of it. He's like, you gotta teach me. You're gonna teach me now? Wow, kid, I'll teach you. That was your first lesson. What? What I just taught you was a jab. And he ends up going to this gym and working as a lightweight boxer. He ends up going there and he wants to become a boxer. He gets registered. He ends up becoming one of the favorite pupils of the very curmudgeonly coach, Genji Kamagawa, this old, decrepit man who's constantly, you can't be a boxer, you're a prick. He's like Mickey from Rocky. He's just a guy who he cares about his boxers, but he gives them tough love. He beats them, he yells at them, and he's trying to train Ippo to be that great boxer that he is. And along the way, Ippo makes lots of friends and lots of enemies. The first person he actually spars with is someone studying to be the welterweight champion. He is Miyata, who's the same weight class as Ippo, except he's starting to be champion, like I said, and his special move is the counter. He's good at countering people. So Ippo is taught the bare basics of boxing. He's taught how to block, how to jab, and how to punch. That's it. And he goes against this guy who's a seasoned pro. And Ippo beats him. And now it has become the battle of the century between two because they become friendly rivals. They are fighting to get to the top. And you see them rise, and Ippo learns through different fights all these different techniques, eventually gaining the confidence to be who he is. Because as he becomes a better boxer and as he studies road work, he ends up not caring about the bullies. At one point, the bullies are running after him. They're going to catch him. They're going to beat him up. And he's running, and he's not out of breath. And then the bullies find out that he's a boxer. And they go to his thing and say, oh, he's going to get creamed. And they see he actually wins. And they're like, oh, my God. Now, Makinochi! Makinochi! And they're his cheerleading squad. They love him. It's a fun, weird series that it just goes so far into it. Because eventually, he does win the championship belt. And then he has to defend it. But will he be able to defend it? And there's so many other people. The one man that he wanted to beat him and bested him. And then he retired, so he didn't get that opportunity. But eventually, he was able to have a second chance, fighting someone who was a friend of his, but also a rival. You see this camaraderie he has with all of his opponents because they all share this love of boxing that they obtain, because it's not just about being strong. It's having the gumption, the strength to push back when things push at you. It's like the thing that Rocky says, when life knocks you down, you have to have the strength to get back up. And that's what this series is about, people getting back up. There's also a very funny romance where the girl that he's in love with is the baby sister of one of his biggest opponents. So it's like, oh God, he's gonna kill me because he's actually afraid of him because it's like, oh my God, you're his sister. Don't kill me. Now, the big reason why most people know about this series is because of the Dempsey role. They talk about all the various boxers that they're out there because Ippo is a short boxer, but he's got a strong punch. And they actually liken him to Mike Tyson. When I say Mike Tyson is small, but he's got a very powerful punch because of the strength behind it. And that's what Ippo has. He has that Mike Tyson punch. But because of the agility he eventually gains from chopping wood and wrestling a bear, don't ask, he ends up learning this move called the Dempsey roll, which Jack Dempsey, a boxer from the 20s, used all the time. It's when you kind of move in a figure eight, so you're dodging and then you're punching, dodging and punching, dodging and punching, and it makes an infinity loop. It just gets into a huge, awesome, perpetual motion of just pain. Look on YouTube, Dempsey roll, you'll see Ippo. It's astounding and amazing. You're like, yes, because it's a very quintessential scene. Also, he gets his own version of an uppercut called the Gazelle Punch. And then his other signature move is the liver blow, where he punches you in the side. Now, some of you are like, what the hell is he talking about? Has Zan lost his mind? Kinda. I'm geeking out about the series because it is one of those series that you can't explain. You could geek out about it, but you have to read it. And I do recommend reading it because it is a great story. It's got action, it's got romance, it's got a lot of comedy, it's got heart, it's got tragedy, and it has so many things in it that make you invested in the story of Ippo. And it's not just about Ippo, it's about every member in his gym and the people he's involved with. There are entire chapters and volumes where Ippo doesn't show up. There's an entire story arc which is about Mamoru getting the championship belt in his first fight against someone where he's defending it. And you're just focused on him winning. And you're like, is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? And this is a character that you're like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to read about Ippo. But you get invested in it. And while that would be a drop in points where they take away from the character for so long, I find it to be endearing and great. And for that reason, because of the great art style, because of the great characters who are memorable, and the fact that it's going on so long, and the great message behind it, and the fact that it makes me want to learn about boxing a little bit, and it makes me enjoy boxing, I'm going to have to give this manga, Hajime no Ippo, our highest rating of really, really, really fucking cool. If you don't read this now, your brain will freeze and your eyes will soap and your soul will be forfeit to the great Zolmogusar. It is that fucking good. It is that great, and I highly recommend it. Now, it was released for a few chapters in English by Raijin Comics, but you can find it through alternative means, and you can actually get volumes of it if you look hard enough for it. I'm actually at Anime Expo giving away the first 2 volumes in the raw Japanese, my 2 copies of Hajime no Ippo, at the Insane Manga Challenge as a grand prize. So go there and check it out. So now that I'm done geeking out about that, remember you can check out any of our earlier episodes at www.spiraken.com. You can email me personally at zanspiraken.com. And let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, accept no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. What I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, that's what we're going to review the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 299. The last episode before our 10-year anniversary. And I'm very excited because I've got some great titles on here and I've got some really terrible ones on here. I've got titles I've been trying to do for years. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll put them on the list. I mean, we've got Golden Boy on here. We've got Kenshin on here. We've got Devilman on here. We've got Dome on here. We've got Hunter x Hunter on here. And we have so many others. So let's spin and see what we're going to review, shall we? Number 1. Whoa, number 1. So, in the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing the manga that tells us all that life is study. Yes, Golden Boy, a perverted, amazing series. I'm surprised I'm getting so many good ones. I'm guessing that 300 is probably going to be really bad if I do that. But I digress. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have had a blast. And we'll talk about this more next time. This is your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. Read more manga.